Testing, 1, 2, 3, and we are live. I'm assuming thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I am your Omi Inca 8 on the Spreaker Show. However, on the Omi's production studio, I am Omi Inca 7. But for all intents and purposes, you can call me affectionately Omi Inca 8. I am going to be featuring the discussion on enrolling in the foundational science class. Yes, we are finally going to be enrolling some students. I have one student enrolled so far, and I am inviting you to be a part of this segment. Let's see. I'm inviting you to be a part of this segment, and you may enroll in our session. And the Dean Vaughn retention program is part of what I'll be offering along with anatomy. And in that class, you can register online. It is an online class. Now, we are going to be having the intensified classes where those classes are going to be face-to-face here in my hometown until we can set up everything in those other cities. Now, what you will need is you're going to have to go and let me know if you're interested in enrolling. I will give you a code to go in so that you can access the classroom. I will not give that code over the phone because I don't want everybody accessing the code. Now, this is an 8-week class. It's going to be rather pushing it. But we're attempting to do a segment of 8 weeks so we can get through all of the Dean Vaughn retention, medical terminology, and anatomy. Then we want to have time left for our ACD-10, ACD-10, ICD, CP. Let me get that right. Our complete ICD-10 CM training, and that is where you learn how to actually code. But you first need the foundations of the medical term, and you also need the foundation of anatomy, the anatomical aspect. And in that class, you will be showing and telling. You will be interacting. Of course, there's limited things we can do online, but we will be viewing a video. And the video, during that time, we're going to ask that no one take notes or write anything down. This is supposed to be purely retention from memory, being able to remember the actual word association that you're going to be schooled on so you know how to put all of the decoding together for these Latin words. The main thing I'm going to ask you to do is observe the video, view the video. Don't take notes on it and then try to recall everything you've seen in the video. It's going to be a fun class, exciting, and the class is $50. It's $30 for the license in order for you to be licensed, and your class is set up where you can use it for up to a year. We're hoping to be done within 8 weeks, okay? But they give you a large margin to work from. Now, you will meet me online, and while you're online observing the video, viewing the video, then I will come and do a session with you. And that is when I will give you the extracurricular activity homework and give you assignments. And that's the only time you'll pick up your pen. But while you're online viewing the video, there's no need to pick up a pen. Now, I've taught this program for Dean Vaughn medical terminology before, many years ago, and it's changed slightly. But I've gone through and had a chance to view the program and modules myself, and I've gone through several of the modules, and it is workable and doable, people. It is not something that is in far reach. And I want to bring to the climate of professional development specialists. There are a number of professional development specialists that are out there. They're not sharing their gifts. They're not helping people to get the continuing education courses they need in order to be able to pursue and renew their licensing in the allied health profession. And they're not talking about being a buddy or coach to anyone. But everybody is making it on their own, every man for themselves. But that is not the African way. The African way is that we start studying together and we finish together. We work things out where we assist one another. And I opt to share my review with other learners so that we can have a team and have a group of people studying together. Now, as I told you earlier, back in the 80s, I'll say around 1983, 84, I was enrolled in a RHIT program, and that stands for the Registered Health Information Technician. I went on a journey while I was working as a respiratory technician. I got an offer to go back to school to complete my training to obtain a certificate in respiratory therapy. I had already worked in this field, knew everything about it, and was not interested in going back for respiratory therapy. But I was interested in learning more about medical records. So I had opted to go back for medical records. In the meantime, I discovered that a company by the name of 3M was offering a scholarship for anyone that could write a paper describing how the Fish card could assist medical coders and medical records. So I wrote this statement paper, and I won second place, monies to put down on my schooling. And I was able to enroll in a school to use that as for my first class. And I started, initially I was out in Minnesota looking at some of the programs, but I didn't start my schooling until I came back to the Wisconsin area in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I then had enrolled in College of DuPage. And College of DuPage had a full-blown 2-year technician program, which I enrolled in. I took all of the theoretical classes. I even finished up until I was enrolled in my internship. And while in my internship, I was gathering information, learning how to code. At that point, I was given an offer for a job. So I then took the job, and I came out of my internship never to challenge the exam. I always said I was going to come back because I was at the end of the program, and literally all I had to do was sit for the exam. So I knew that I would come back to this chapter in my life, and I had to put everything aside and learn how to review for the exam. I'd never taken the exam, but I heard that, through orientation with one of the program directors, that it was an open book exam. I said, an open book exam? He said, right, you are. It's an open book exam. You can review for this exam, and you can sit for this exam and challenge it. And the good thing is you don't have to have completed your 2-year traditional education, or you don't have to have any type of credentials such as a bachelor's or a master's to sit for the exam. You just have to feel competent enough that you can go in, and you not only can go in and challenge the exam, but you can go in and definitely pass it if you've reviewed with all of the necessary documents. First of all, you had to have that foundation of anatomy and physiology, I think, but a lot of people say, no, you don't need to have that. Some people want to take it from the perspective, you just need to know medical term. That's not good enough for me. You need to have the medical term down pat and anatomy and physiology. I've had both of them. I've even had pathology and the health courses that pertain to it. So I have been over inundated with all the required courses. So I know that I can challenge that exam. Now, there's a couple of conferences coming up, and those conferences will allow newcomers that are at the basic level to go into the seminars and to learn about coding. Now, I wouldn't recommend any new people sign up under basic to take the exam. As a matter of fact, they won't let you sign up if you are just a basic person coming in. Now, I might be considered as intermediate and not advanced because I don't have a certificate, I can still challenge the exam because of the fact that I have intermediate skills and I've coded before and I've actually taught coding. So for yourself, you might want to wait and go back to one of the universities or to the school that's offering the class with a proctor, of course, who will help you to proctor you through this exam. Now, the only thing is if you took the exam at the conference, you can take it with the pencil and paper and alleviate from doing the digital. But most people that go back and sign up for the exam, they sign up for the digital with the proctor. Especially those new basic learners, they will not allow you to sit for the exam at the conference because they don't think you're skilled enough. But it's a good feeling to join a membership where they're giving you free membership for the first year. And all you're doing is paying to fraternize with other members of the profession. You're getting to meet people, networking, taking down phone numbers, and it's worth its weight in gold. So literally, you can go to the workshops you want to. You don't have to attend the whole thing. You can cut the prices by attending 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, and you know you're not going to pay for the examination. So that's money in the bank. But I wanted to tell you that you can enroll. I'm looking to see if we could pull quite a few people that are considered legal assistants or are considered as paralegals. This is an area that most paralegals haven't considered. To be an abstractor, to work in medical malpractice, your legal skills are called upon, as well as learning medical terminology, medical extracting, so you can pull for diagnosis for the doctor that's working with medical malpractice cases. So I am ushering in an order for anyone that is a paralegal that would like to open up another area of specialties. But in large, anyone can enroll in this review program. You don't have to have a certain track background because we're going to be providing you with the area of learning medical term as well as anatomy. So you get a working knowledge, and whether you apply yourself or not will depend on whether or not you can go to the next level without a credential. Now, I have to remind you, there are some levels of credentials that where they give the certificate for the home health hospice. Then they have the home health diagnosis, the home health oasis for Medicare, the home health hospital. Now, there is hospital, there is compliance, there is I said hospice, and diagnosis. And you must understand you can pick and choose between what specialty you want. These are specialty areas, of course. While you're also learning medical terminology, you're also learning ICD-10 CM, and that is the codes that you're learning. Now, because if you go to the conference where you're actually getting a free membership and to the society, then you are just paying for the conference based on what days you're going. I want you to understand that the $50 that we're asking is only going to last for a short time. Then we're going to go up to $60. So I can't give you the deadline yet because we have not put one into effect. But I will tell you that I'm only making $20 per person off this program because $30 goes for your license and the $20 is for my administrative fees. We're hoping that when you get done with the training that you can sign up under our registry indicating that you pass my training review. And also there's a certificate that's coming from Dean Bond Retention Program, and they're offering a certificate for their Dean Bond Retention medical term only with anatomy. So when you walk away, you will walk away with a certificate that says Dean Von Foundational Science and Anatomy. And it will give recognition to the fact that you have mastered those classes, okay? Because we're teaching to mastery. Now, being on our registry would mean that other people can look you up and see you've had my review and see you've had my training. And that registry is very important. It's not a certificate, of course, but it is a registry to say you've been through the training. Now, I want you to understand that hopefully you will network and take down numbers and meet different people while in the review. The review is basically to get you ready for an exam that's an open book exam. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, 150 questions on the exam. And we will be looking at some study books, examples of what fashion questions they ask for the test. And we will have a working knowledge of doing some sample coding, because that's what they're going to test you on, your coding. So we will have to have the workbooks to do the sample coding so we can practice. Practice will make perfect. And after we practice, we can take a look at these scenarios that we have read the diagnosis and the procedure on, and it will give us a better idea of how to handle every type of case. Whether it be a diabetes case or a wound case, we will get the understanding, line upon line, precept on precept, how we handle each one of those particular codes. And we'll learn all there is to know about coding and how do you properly go through your book to find a diagnosis, and how do you flip through your book rather expediently to go to the procedure code or go to the diagnosis. You need to be taught these techniques, because in the testing room, you should have already gotten your technique down so that you know what you're doing when you go into the testing site. You won't be fiddling around with what section to go under. You will have that under control. And what I wanted you to also understand is that we are formalizing a support group, a network. I am a professional development trainer, and I will eventually be offering continuing education hours for you to renew your license with Dean Vaughn, okay? Because there's some type of license that you're going to have to keep up with the coursework under the CEUs to renew that license. And that's the whole thing why they created a job for me, because all those people that are in different fields, whether it be teaching, science, allied health, they all have continuing education courses to complete and turn in so that they can keep their license current. And that's what I do as a TAC, training and curriculum specialist. I go into corporation as a 1099 contractor, and I do their continuing education, and I also provide in-house training for them so that they meet the state requirement and their department requirement. So as a training curriculum specialist, I can offer just about any course under my continuing ed. And we do have a catalog called The Teacher's Pet. And you'll be able to find these classes under The Teacher's Pet. And The Teacher's Pet will be ideal classes that will be conducive for keeping your license active. Okay? And that's licensing under Dean Bond, not the licensing under the traditional CPC or traditional coding license. That's a separate license. I won't be able to extend that to you. That will come from the various different states that you will be testing out of. And I want to make sure you understand that this is a networking opportunity and a registry that I'm offering. And you will also have access to some of my websites that I have out there now. I have two websites that are out there. One that will be more conducive to you is the Family Life Education website, and then also the Manchu enterprise.biz website. One of the things that we wanted to make available to you is to have the directory available for anyone to take a look at and for you to update the directory. Now, with your fee comes the right, with your $50 comes the right to be on our directory. You don't have to pay for that. Once you pay your fee for your licensing and enrollment fee, you are then given the right to have your name put in the registry. I think that's a good deal. Now, later on down the road, there might be a slight fee for that because there's a lot of administrative recording and collecting data. Now, one thing I will say is that you can come out of the training and sit for the exam and could very well pass it. Now, once passing it, that doesn't guarantee you a job. You have to understand that companies will hire you based on your prior work experience. If you have no prior work experience, they might hire you in an entry-level position as a clerk to work with the medical records department. But that's better than nothing. If you need to develop your years of service of coding, and if someone's going to train you in how to do coding, but you have to work under that mentor as a mentee. And you have to master your ability to code while in-house. They're not going to hand you a ticket to do remote work when you have no years of service behind you. You have to develop at least 5 years of service behind you before they'll ever offer you an opportunity to be a remote worker from home. Now, that's what most people are trying to get to, is becoming a remote worker from home. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a long-time coder and you've been coding before and you code more than 5 years and you're seasoned, you just want to go sit for the certificate, then by all means, we want to help you to become an entrepreneur consultant. And through our academy, we would prepare you upon you completing the exam with your flyers or brochures, as well as your business cards and your letterhead with your name on it. These are some of the perks that goes along with our training. And there are many different types of training. One is the online training, where I will meet you online and you will do independent review of the video, and then I will interact with you online. And then we have the home study, where you're going to be able to take my information and you can literally work with it from home. And then we also have the boot camp, where you can meet our class in one of the nearby hotels, where we are going to be doing extensive work at the hotel to complete the task of the training. I don't know how many hours it's going to take, but we do have a set amount of, I think that's the 7 day. It's the 7 day training, okay? Really condensed. And we're looking at that for possibly some of our intermediate learners, so they can come in ready to go and they know a little bit how the procedure goes because they've coded before. They're just not credentialed. Now, like myself, I've coded before, but I'm not credentialed. And a lot of us are out there like that, who have gone through the training, who have did the traditional classroom training, and some of us who have actually gone online and did training, and we fell away and we need a cosmetic facelift like myself to be lifted up and then to put back out there in this particular line of review, to get the review under our belts and then to sit for the exam. Because a lot of us might be able to walk right in there, read verbatim about the cases, and then actually process the code. Now, if I saw enough cases and read enough cases, I'm sure that through my practice of reading these cases, I'll be able to read the summary of the cases and properly diagnose. As long as I know where all of my tabs are, how to get to them, and I spend time getting to know my way around that book, because that book can be in opposition if you're not certain how to use it. But I wanted to let you know that we are pushing forward. If you are interested in enrolling in our class, you can call me or you can email me, omiyinka1 and say, hey, Omi, I'd like to pay my $50 and enroll in that class. We're taking interested bodies now. So as the clock ticks, you can call now, you can email me now and let me know. And we will definitely sign you up. We're looking for 20 individual enrollees to start that class. And as I told you, that if this class is the online class, but we do have a boot camp class that we're going to be traveling to do. And that has yet to be set up because we have to set up the hotels and get the locations for you. So we're going to start off with the online class, okay? And we do need as many people to sign up as possible, so this thing will be a go, because I can't keep waiting for people to sign up and then they're hesitant. Literally, and you must understand, I want you to go and buy your book, your coding book. You're going to have to invest at least $200 in your coding book if you want to be a part of this profession. You cannot be a part of this profession looking at someone else's book and borrowing someone else's book. That cannot happen. You cannot share books when you go into the testing ground. You must have your own book that you purchase. So you might as well start getting in the habit of looking at your own book so you can pull those codes out. Now, the faster you crank those codes out that are accurate, the better. A lot of people are used to doing things haphazardly. They don't double check. They don't go behind themselves. We're going to caution you to be exact as you can when you're coding, because these codes can be tracked, and people use these codes to track certain diagnoses. And if you've actually put the wrong code on it, then they can't track it to the right disease category. So this is a big deal. It's a big deal and a great amount of work, but it'll be well worth it, because once you come out as a coder, you have a credential and a bona fide profession. That profession can lead you into administrative work. It can lead you into training and development, like I'm in, and lead you into being a voucher of your own training, where you offer training to AAPC, and you get their credentials and certification, of course, because they have their own set of training. And once you get bona fide by them, then they will send you to students. You no longer have to market for students. They will send you students and allow you to use your voucher to train these students. So you become their trainer as a contractor. Do you understand what I mean by contractor? A contractor gets a 1099 when at the end of the year they can write off portions of their expenses, and they literally are using a schedule, I think it's a Schedule H, if I'm not mistaken, when they file their taxes. And they're not a corporation, but they are somewhat like a sole proprietor or independent contractor. And they can file on those incidental things like car repair, mileage, and the room that you're using in your home, your gas, and mileage, and that kind of thing. But it's very important to know that if you're on your way to become a consultant, you must structure yourself with an attorney to show you how to structure your business. So in case you're moving from sole proprietor to C Corp and S Corp, you then becoming a corporation, and you will need the advice of an attorney and of a lawyer as well. Now, I think I've said everything that I can say about this session. If there are any more questions and you need to contact me, once again, my email is omiyinka1 I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I want to say thank you very much for listening to this particular episode and segment of Omi Inka's educational partnering and looking at how we can make a difference in the allied health profession. Thank you.